Hello students, this is Miss Yurai, and today I am going to deal with the water resource. This is the last part of the water resources, and in this part we will be talking about the need for conservation of the water and methods of conservation of water. Need for conservation of water. So as we all know, water, we've already learned about it. It's very important natural resource, and it has satisfied many of our human needs. Okay, and we all know it is indispensable for any kind of existence of life on the earth's surface. It is indispensable, that is water. So talking about water, conservation of water has become essential to us. Why has conservation of water have become so essential to us? Is because there is shortage of supply. Short supply is there, okay, meaning there's scarcity of water. That means in each and every aspect of our life we require water, and as the population is increasing day by day, the increasing population also requires the water supply. That's why there is shortage of supply of water. Second one is increasing demand. Okay, increase demand. So increased demand means the population, it is increasing, and in order to feed the increasing population, what will have to be increased? Agricultural production will have to be increased. For the agricultural production to be increased, irrigation is very necessary. And not only that, as human or mankind, they are developing, industrialization has become a very important part of mankind. And for industrialization, what do they require? They require water. So this increase in the demand has a very adverse effect on water, and there is decreasing amount of water, so there is always shortage of water as the demand is increasing. And next thing is large scale pollution. So what is happening? Agricultural production is increasing, definitely, but at the same time, what is also happening? As the agricultural production is increasing, various kinds of insecticides and pesticides are being added to the agricultural field. Those agricultural fertilizers that are there, they will be added to the water, and thus leads to pollution of water. Not only that, industrialization has added chemicals to the water. Various kinds of chemicals are added to the water, and the water is being polluted. And then after that, uneven distribution. Now the point is uneven distribution. So on the earth's surface, water is present, but it is unevenly distributed. Like some places they have very less amount of water, whereas some place they have very high amount of water. So in order to do away with this problem also, we need to conserve the water. Now we will deal with the steps for conservation. Okay, so first step is developing water saving technologies. So technologies which enhances the water, or it saves the water, those technologies will have to be implemented. Then second one is preventing pollution of water. That means the pollution of the water will have to be prevented by either, if it is the use of in the agricultural field, then organic fertilizers can be used. That way we can prevent water pollution via agriculture. Then if it is concerned with the industries, treatment plants will have to be established in the industries so that the water pollution can be controlled to a certain extent. Then the third one is encourage watershed development. So watershed development will have to be encouraged. Not only that, rainwater harvesting will have to be done, and reuse and recycling of the water will have to be done. Okay, so we need not only need to take quick steps, but we also have to make proper policies and laws. So some of the laws which are made by the government of India is the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974, and the Environment Protection Act 1986, and Water Cess Act of 1977. These are the various acts and laws and policies that has been framed by the government in order to protect water or conserve water. Steps for conservation. The last point, it's written reuse and recycle of the water. How do we reuse and recycle the water? That is by reusing and recycling of the water we can save the fresh water. So how do we reuse and recycle the water is, whichever water is not of good quality, those kind of water can be used for this firefighting, and not only that, for cooling purpose in the industries, and it can be used for the gardening purpose, car washing, for all those purposes water can be reused, and the fresh water that we will save some amount of fresh water. Then there is this watershed development. Okay, watershed development. And when we say watershed development, it refers to what? An efficient management and conservation of both surface and groundwater. When there is an efficient management of both management as well as conservation of both surface as well as groundwater resources, then it is known as water management. And when the watershed management is being done, what are the steps? The steps are to prevent the runoff. The runoff will have to be controlled, and the storage of water is there. Obviously, recharge of water is also included in it. So how do we do it? We do it by various processes. There is a percolation pit. One process is percolation pit, another one is recharge well, another one is bore well, dug well. So these are the various methods by which watershed can be managed. Okay, and the percolation pit, I want to simply explain it. It's just a pit that is dug, and in that all the rubbles and pebbles and sand is added. So whenever there's a rainfall, instead of the water just running off on the surface, what will happen? The water will percolate and it will recharge the groundwater. That is the percolation pit. Okay, and in India there is this project by the central government called the Haryali project. Okay, and it is implemented in order to enable especially the village people to conserve water, to make them conserve water. This Haryali project has been implemented. Of all the steps that are there to conserve water, rainwater harvesting, it's very important. It's there in your syllabus as well. So rainwater harvesting, what is it? It is collecting and storing of rainwater. When water is stored, the rainwater is stored and collected, that is known as the rainwater harvesting. And the main principle, the basic principle of rainwater harvesting is catch water where it falls. So you'll have to catch water wherever it is falling. That is the basic concept or basic principle of rainwater harvesting. So there are various methods of rainwater harvesting, like the construction of potholes are there, then groundwater dams are there, well recharge, preserving lake, ponds and tanks are there, johad is there, ferro cement tank is there. So all these are the methods by which rainwater harvesting can be done. So construction of the pothole is, we can harvest water by constructing a pit, as I have already explained it, the percolation pit. It's similar to that. A ditch is dug, which is round about 1 to 2 meters wide or 2 to 3 meters deep, and then it is filled with rubbles and as well as pebbles, sand. And then what will happen when the rain comes? At that time, the water percolates through this pit that has been constructed and increases the groundwater table. And basically this is done in places where they have very less amount of groundwater. Then the groundwater dams, these kind of dams, they are usually found in India, obviously, and then Africa and Brazil as well. So wherever there is the flow of groundwater, the flow of the groundwater is very strong, very high during the rainy season. In these areas, this kind of groundwater dams are constructed. So underneath the surface of the earth, wherever there is the groundwater, a dam is constructed so that the water does not flow towards the lower level. This is and it will act later on, it will act as a storehouse for the tube wells that are there present in that area. And then the next one is well recharging. Some of the wells are such that it does not have water at all, so the rainwater it is actually directed towards this wells, and the wells gets recharged. Then preserving lakes and ponds are preserved. That means the rainwater that occur in those rainwaters water, it is rather channelized to the lakes and the ponds that are there in and around the urban area. That way the water gets stored in that lakes and tanks that are there. Then the johad simply means it is a construction, or it is a bund that is constructed over the slope of the hill. A bund is constructed, earthen bund is constructed, and that earthen bund, it acts as a water preserver. There, rainwater that is flowing through the hill, it is preserved. So that is the johad. Then the last one is the ferro cement tank. So when I say ferro cement tank, it means ferro meaning iron. Okay, iron and cement. A tank is constructed. Rather than buying this tank that we usually buy, the tank is constructed with the help of concrete and iron. That is known as the ferro iron tank. There are various benefits of rainwater harvesting. So first benefit is the groundwater, it is constantly being used. It is depleting day by day or decreasing day by day. So rainwater harvesting, it helps in the recharge of the groundwater, and it also stops the decline of the groundwater. That is the first benefit. Second point is it brings down water supply bill. So we'll have to pay water for the water supply. So it is of great importance, especially in the big institutions. Some institution may be spending large amount of money on the water supplies. So if rainwater harvesting is done, then the amount of money spent will be decreased to a great extent. Then number 3 is reducing stress on public water supply, also saves energy. So if rainwater is stored, then what will happen? It will be stored for the future use. That way, what will happen? It will reduce the stress on public water supply. So the public water supply may not be used if there is storage of rainwater which is received through rainwater harvesting, and the municipality will have lesser burden of supply of water. Not only that, as the water is supplied to the public, what will happen is lots of energy, huge amount of energy is used in order to supply the water. Especially in the plain region, they'll have to first extract the water via the pumps, and then it will have to be distributed that way. Huge amount of energy is used, and that energy can be saved to a great extent if rainwater harvesting is done. Then prevent seawater ingress. That is another point. In order to prevent the seawater from coming into the groundwater, this rainwater harvesting will have to be done. If some area has huge underground cavities, and because of excessive extraction of the water from the underground, what has happened, the huge cavities has been created. So, and if it is closer to the coastal area, then what will happen? The salty water will come inside, or it will increase or come inside the cavities that has been created, and the water that is already there will be completely destroyed because it will turn brackish. So for that, rainwater recharge is a necessity in order to protect the underground water from being brackish. Next one is the urban flooding. So urban flooding can be completely stopped if there is rainwater harvesting, and the premises surrounding it also will have effective water recharge as well. Last one is the reduces the soil erosion. So if there is no surface runoff, the water will percolate through a various method into the ground, and the groundwater gets recharged. Then soil erosion is automatically stopped. Now this is the end of the chapter, water resources. I will be giving you the questions, ICC questions, past years ICC questions in the next class, or I will be sending it via your WhatsApp group. Okay, stay home, stay safe.